Vacations will never be the same. Welcome to the theme parks of Universal Orlando Resort. With spectacular hotels and more, Universal Orlando offers an entire week of vacation awesome. Visit universalorlando.com.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
You're listening to Saucepans and Sidesteps.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Saucepans and Sidestep podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, Mr. HG Rugby, Huw Griffin, and the one and only Pringle. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Evening. We're very good. We have to remember that we were just having a chat before we came on air, and I was just remind ourselves that this is probably going to be the most fun podcast that we've done so far this season.
You mean positivity?
Positivity. Anyway,
Mark,
Mark, you have to call him International Pringle now because he's been to America.
He's been to America. Ooh,
yeah, I'm still jet lagged.
Oh,
if I'm honest.
You've been home like almost a week. You know.
No, I haven't.
Get over it.
I haven't.
Yeah, because of the jet lag, it only feels like 2 days.
And
well, the thing is, you were only over there for like a week, 10 days. Did the jet lag you had going over there cancelled out the jet lag?
It was the last day because the plane was turned around halfway. I had to go back to where it was.
What was that? Ran out of fuel?
The fuel gauge.
So we rode a board. And they said, the fuel gauge is playing up. We're going to have to fix it. They said they fixed it. Halfway there, they're like, it stopped working again. We don't know how much fuel we got left. We need to turn around. And everyone was like, can we just get there? Can we just go to London? We're halfway there already. No, we turned back, waited 6 hours in the airport to get on another flight, 7.5 hours. So it's a long, long day, to say the least. And I'm still recovering from it.
Surely the part of aviation is you have to put enough fuel in it to get there in the first place.
Have you ever flown with United Airlines? Because they're something else. I don't think I've ever flown with them where it's not been delayed or something's gone wrong.
Well, then it's your own fault. I'm sorry if you knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, but they offer such good deals, innit? Sometimes you got to think about that.
You get what you pays for, Pringle.
Especially when you go to like events, as you know, Big M, that costs a lot of money to go to. Then
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Spending money to go to events, that's certainly not in my vocabulary.
Well, you haven't seen the prices for tickets today for some sort of door forbidden one.
Really? Oh, yeah. Christ.
We'll speak about this later.
I'm not looking.
We'll speak about this later.
Okay, so speaking a bit of travel, I'm assuming, Pringle, there was domestic Pringle this week, and he turned up at the park.
You always put me in the spot with this one at the start, don't you?
Well, the man who confesses that he has never left Parky Scarlets happy. Was he at least somewhat happy this weekend?
The last time I was happy leaving the park was that Bulls game. And it's just the surprise of winning. And I think this is the same thing, isn't it? It's like never expected to win. Went there thinking, I know you're not happy that my negativity, but no one, you can admit this, right? We didn't expect to win now.
I said by 8.
Yeah, but
I underestimated us.
I thought we had a chance because I knew Leinster were going to rotate, and I thought our firsts should be a match for Leinster thirds, and I was right.
It weren't even the thirds. They had like 6 first teamers in there, so it's closer to seconds.
I actually listened to the pod on the flight, and I was thinking, I said, way too positive for this. I don't know what's going on. But in all fairness, the atmosphere on the park this time was really good.
About 7,500 down there as well.
Yeah.
Did you go in fancy dress?
No, I didn't see
No.
anyone in fancy dress. So it
Yeah,
wasn't a
there was a
competition
guy
or
with
something.
there was a guy with a Spider-Man mask on.
Well, I
You
didn't
saw
see
him.
him.
He had,
He's always there. That's what he dresses like every week, man.
oh,
There was a guy walking up and down the touchline with a big dragon costume on.
I think I can't remember his name. Like Cochran. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Cochrane. Yeah. He's a good lad, he is. He's a good lad. No, it was good. Good. It was good down there. And obviously we had the pitch invasion, as they call it, after the game, which I missed last year because I was also away and I missed the last game. So, yeah, it was good. They did like a presentation for the leavers, and then we just got to mingle with the players. And
Mingle with Pringle. Yeah.
have a guess who the most popular player was out of like everyone was on the pitch, the whole team.
Well,
Howdle.
no, it's going to be a sexy boy. It's got to be one of the forwards.
Do you want to take a guess? I was thinking,
Ooh.
will you guys guess? Ooh, literally, I'm not even joking. There was about 30 people around this person. Couldn't get him close to him.
Well, if he didn't cut his hair off, it would have been Hepburn.
Okay.
So, yeah, kind of downgraded his looks a bit, if I'm totally honest. But he's up to his performances, so I'm happy with that. We'll come on to that.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the shorter his hair gets, the better he plays.
Yeah.
Well, I was right in front of what happened, and yeah, everyone screamed with happiness for that.
Yeah. So I reckon I'm going to go with it's going to be a back rower then. I'm thinking maybe Fafita. It's between Fafita and Plumtree. It's got to be.
Nah, no, in all fairness, I mean, those boys, as soon as there's people around, they're off. They're like, see you later. We're not doing this. But no, it was Plumtree. Plumtree is the most popular person with the fans. Trust me, he is like.
It's because he's so good.
Everyone, he is obviously so good, and
was he all right? Because he got sparked during the game.
Yeah, I think he said. I heard someone saying that he'd had a concussion or he felt concussed. So yeah,
Don't broadcast habit.
Yeah, so I don't know. Costello seemed fine though, so hopefully he'd be okay, seeing as he's back and Scar start playing like that. So yeah.
So what sort of obviously for those that weren't in the ground, obviously the coverage ended pretty sharpish after the final whistle on Premier Sports and bloody what was it, Espedrec. So what was the presentation? Was it just all of them together? Did they have like a lineup of little gifts and stuff?
Yeah, it was basically all the players with their families and stuff standing around watching, and then they were presenting them with framed like jerseys for where the players are leaving. Yeah, and then as soon as that be done, then they pulled down the rope, and then we just got to mingle. But yeah, it was great being on that pitch. I mean, all the viewers have stood, looking at that pitch, and then be able to stand on there and just take it all in. It's good. I definitely recommend if you guys come to a game, come to that last game with being able to go on the pitch. It was really good.
Yeah, it is. It is a different experience being on that pitch. Is when there's not many people around. It's like I don't want to say it's haunting, but it's just something else. The European semi-final against Glasgow a couple of years ago, they had us in there planted flags on the seats, and so you just there. You've walked out to the tunnel. There was literally, I think there was less than 15 of us there, and you would just be standing on the edge of the pitch, and it was so quiet. Look, it just fills your body with something. It's such a special place, and I know it doesn't have the history like Stradi does, but it has its own history. It has its own meanings. So it is incredible just to be out there.
I've been trying to get my garden or my lawn well, right? And it's taking ages. But looking at that grass, I'm so jealous. It's so good.
Don't get me started, mate. I borrowed a scarifier off my mum and dad.
That's what I've been doing. It's a bloody nightmare.
But I haven't used it yet. I'm quite nervous about it, to be honest.
Hire someone. Come on. Just get someone
half
to
my
do it
grass
for
is
you.
gone. I've just got mud because it's just taking all the dead grass out, and I got nothing left now.
Jesus.
So yeah,
Terrible. Okay. I think that should kind of bring us on to the game itself. Little bit left on Pringle. Big moments. What got the best cheers from the crowd or the biggest oohs?
you can probably guess what was the biggest cheer, and that was pretty much Hepburn's fend. Yeah, just didn't see that coming. He just like ragdolled him. It's great. And that and Plumtree's interception, I thought was because we just didn't expect it at the time. But do you know what the belief in the stadium, I would say, is the most there's been all season. Because after that
Besides you,
first,
right?
yeah, no, I was believing. Have you not seen the photo of me? The
That
screenshot of
was
me.
after the whistle.
I know, but that was me all the way through.
Aye,
You
aye.
know, I'm gonna wear that cap now every time I go down because it's obviously a good luck thing.
Oh
So
yeah, that was it. You raided the shop.
yeah, and honestly, there's nothing left. My brother was like, "Ah, I'll go grab something after the game now." Nothing left. All the Leinster fans took it all.
Money
Ah, well,
bags, typical.
at,
Yeah,
at least we didn't have to, work on selling Castor stuff for even further reduced prices in the summer now. But
yeah.
okay, onto the game. What was it? 35-22?
35. Yeah.
I have not
So
watched it back. I was gonna ask you guys, what was it? What did it sound like from like fans' perspective? Was it
It was
like
good. There
loud?
was lots of singing. I noticed. Like there was like Callan Lannan stuff
Yeah,
going that you
it
don't
was the
normally
most
hear.
singing I've heard all season. It was really loud there the whole time. I
yeah,
think
that
there was just a little bit of belief after that first. It was disallowed try at first, wasn't it? Can't remember what it was though, because I watched it back. Was that disallowed try?
no.
No, it was Cowdell's try was the first one.
Yeah, maybe I was dreaming.
But we came out of the blocks like a house on fire.
The
Like
boys really
Yeah,
wanted it. You could tell they were just like, "I'm up for this."
it
Um,
was an unreal opening. I mean, like within the first 5 minutes, like obviously just didn't manage to watch too much back. That's a story for another day. It's me and lack of data whilst on bloody gymnastics run with the girls. But our first scrum set play, we didn't even do much. It was just a simple loop, the Sexton loop with Cowdo, and we'd made yardage. We just stuck a box kick up, and me retained it in heavy traffic, which me does so much work that people don't credit him for, which does get me a little bit angry. I'm
sorry,
not
it
gonna
gets
lie.
you angry or it gets me angry.
Gets me, gets you. We should get everybody angry.
Okay.
But and also we stole a line out. This is all in the first 5 minutes again. We were so up for it.
Yeah, we stole a line out, and then Buddy Kelleher tries to kill Gareth Davis.
Literally tries to kill him. Like what was it like? Bloody swinging arm across his bloody legs to make him just do a few
yeah.
spinny flippies and land on his neck or something.
Generally,
Bloody hell.
from where I was stood, there was so many cheap shots by Leinster. There was so many, and like crock
I
rolls.
was
There was loads.
astounded at times. I was going to talk about this later. I'll talk about it now because it's come up. But I was astounded at Leinster's some kind of just disregard for the most basic laws of rugby.
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing? And to be fair, Mike Adamson is a referee who I've had things to say about in the past. And to be fair, in this game, he didn't let them get away with it. You see a lot of referees in the URC just go, it's Leinster, and just let them get away with it. But there was some where, like, there was one in the second half where I think it was Clarkson, I think, it was someone else, it was one of them, like, on the wrong side of the ruck, rolls, instead of
oh,
rolling east to west, rolls towards Cowdor, and then gets up on his hands and knees and crawls, and
yeah.
then just kicks the ball out with his knee, and then stands up and kicks the ball again with his foot. And it's like, you're not
And
allowed to
then
do that, mate.
and then he puts his hands up, thinking, "What have we done wrong?" You're
Yeah.
like, "We know we've done wrong." Yeah,
Like, it was just kind of like if our players had done that, if someone like Tane Plumtree or Sam Lousy had done that, we'd be going like, he's not playing next week. What is he doing? And this is for supposedly the best club team in the world. It just shows that like they've got a level of we think we could do anything type thing. Like
yeah,
and their disallowed try for crawling on the ground.
yeah.
Like didn't even need to go to the TMO. It's like, mate,
It was
you're not allowed
blatant.
to do that.
But they have got away with a lot of those
Yeah.
this
It's,
season.
I mean, I was watching on Premier, and Tom Shanklin, obviously enough said just saying that name. He was like, "Oh, he's unlucky there. He's unlucky." Like, you,
He knows what he's doing.
we hadn't even seen a replay at that
I think
point.
it was
Like,
Cuthbert, actually.
oh, they're both Cardiff. They both sound the same. But you got me thinking now. It is probably Cuthbert, isn't it?
I was watching it
Now,
earlier and it was Cuthbert.
okay, might be Cuthbert. Apologies, Shanks. I will look at any of your other games and criticize you because obviously there's probably something valid in there. Blah blah blah. It was like, yeah, it was just so obvious. He hit the ground something like 4 or 5 meters out, and like you're not getting to the line by just stretching at that point. No one is having the knee like close to the 5 meter line and getting over from there.
Do you think they were
It's just
getting
ridiculous.
frustrated with our defense? Because our defense, I mean, I don't think once I thought, oh, they're getting through it easily. Our defense were on it. Do you think they were
Yeah.
getting frustrated and it was just frustrating them to a point where they were just making mistakes, which is not like them, obviously.
I think by the 65-minute mark, they knew they'd lost.
Yeah.
And then they started getting frustrated and they started making bad decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and that's all you need to do to beat Leinster is just be in the lead around the 65 minute
Yes,
mark.
you
And they
just need to be
capitulate.
better than them and then you win. Although, actually, not all the time. You just score more points than them.
Yeah. So no, obviously there's a lot to break down in this. We got quite a few nice tries in this one. Cowdoors is best.
I think I've pretty much done all of them on them.
Well, what is it? It's the try assist is we're gonna have to call it for Henry Thomas's.
Yeah, it's not actually in the clip.
I know
He was celebrating though. I haven't got the celebration up. Let's see, maybe it might be on this. Maybe S4C's clip has got it in. We'll have to watch it for a little bit. But yeah, there you go. He's absolutely loving it. He's had a haircut as well. Not that there's much left to cut, but
it was a natural cut.
Yeah, but there's Spider-Man. See who was there.
Well, it wasn't by me.
So here we go. See if we can watch it here. Lovely that, and that's a lovely pass from Sam. Because what all the players were able to do, to be fair, was really hone in on who the shooter was in Leinster's system. Obviously, Leinster's defensive system is all about someone shoots out, and we were able to get on the outside of that player quite a lot, and we got a lot of joy from that.
Yeah, it was really really nice to watch. Obviously, we've called for our attack to try things and do things all season, and you got to give it to the boys. They genuinely did try something. It's not just from first phase. Obviously, there was a nice multi-phase try in there. Our second, and quite frankly, there isn't another Welsh 10 like Sam Costello. This was his first game back in 3.5 months. He's gonna be rusty. He's allowed to make mistakes before anyone goes, oh, blah blah blah, whatever. If you come back after 3.5 months out with a bloody broken collarbone and you don't make mistakes in that first game back, either you're playing against either you're a grown adult playing against 6-year-olds, or a miracle has happened. It doesn't happen.
There's a lot of our fan base who just don't believe in him still, because every time I go to the ground, there's always someone there having a negative dig at Costello. I thought he was fantastic. He made mistakes. Like you said, you've got to make mistakes when you come back from something like that because you're out of the game now. He hasn't played for 3 months.
Yeah.
But
so I'll just break down this try best I can. So this is the second try, which is great engineering.
Crossfield one, yeah.
Yeah. This is great engineering between Gareth Davis and Sam Costello. So basically the Scarlets have tried to go for a maul, the maul's gone wrong. So they took them a few phases to get their shape back together, and Sammy's basically just said to Cowdor, look, play off you for a while, let's have some forward carries, just crash it up and let's just get some continuity going in there 22, which we managed to do. Now we're not getting over the gain line, but we're kind of keeping the ball in that, so it's going all right. And then we go one phase back this way, and then this is the important bit. Watch there, see that? Cowdor looks over to Sammy, because Sammy's just been stood in the backfield there going, not interested, don't want it, don't give me the ball. And then he goes and he just calls for it. He jumps into position and Cowdor goes, all right, let's go. So first move, Back inside to Blair Murray. There's a half break there. Straight back to Sammy. Second touch. Half break from Sammy here. Now, it's a little bit of time to recycle the ruck. Lovely pass here from Johnny Williams. Now, I
That goes to
like
hand.
this. It doesn't go to hand, but I like what he's trying to do because he has, again, look at the state of the Leinster defence from where it was. See if I can get this up now. So from there, where it's completely set, one phase there, and then Sammy
Here we
calls
go.
it.
There's one, isn't it? The wing.
Yeah, and then this is Blair Murray's one. So that's one carry. Second carry, Sammy half break as well. So the Leinster line is there and it's coming up as like I said, they do with the aggressive blitz. Johnny gets it there and he's got those three Leinster players on him, but he just floats it beyond them. You see they're quite narrow there. How much space is that? Maybe a third of the pitch, best part of half the pitch. And now Leinster don't really recover from this point. And it doesn't go to hands. And look, you've got Henry Thomas and Alec Hepburn are the two players out there. Joe Roberts is a long way further out. I'm not sure if there's someone beyond him as well.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. So it's not. So if that's not two props standing there, if that's maybe Johnny himself or someone who anticipates that pass a bit better, but the ball has still got into the space, so I don't mind it. And this is a lovely moment from Joe Roberts where this is like the difference between an all right player and a really good player, in that he turns this into something. Like he could just be like dying with the ball here, but he gets the offload away. And then this is the moment, Benji's favorite moment. Boom! See you later.
No start.
More of a slam than anything. He's got his arm
absolutely.
underneath him and just gone, get out of my
but
way.
one-handed. It's amazing.
And so he offloads Henry Thomas again. Henry Thomas's work rate around the pitch is so underrated. Like he gets typecast as a scrummaging only prop. He's so not. He gets around the park really well. And he's got decent hands as well. He gets a bit of meterage. Then Cowdor asks for another trap up. I think it's from Fafita this time. And then this is the moment. This is when Sammy goes pull the trigger. So Sammy stood here. So you got another pod of three forwards. Blair stood at 10. But it's quite deep. I don't know how many meters that is, maybe 10, 15 meters between the ruck and where Sammy is actually stood. And again, this isn't just like per chance. Sammy has gone, Blair, you stand at 10 because I want to stand further back here. So I've got the time to do this kick properly. And that he does. Pass goes back to him. He's got all the time in the world to stick it on the toe. And look at the amount of space back there. And fair play to Tommy Rogers on the wrong wing. Gets over, grounds the ball, lovely stuff. And I love that try because it's not like Scarlets are about set moves, and we'll talk about a set move in a minute. But that was about a 9 and a 10 working together over multiple phases to work out how to score a try, which is not something that you'd associate with the Scarlets this season. So yeah, just made me happy watching it.
It was beautiful. It was something else and something we haven't seen. I mean, I want to say this calendar year, like obviously the New Year's Day Dragons game, wasn't the best, and we hadn't seen anything since then. So we are probably talking, back in December when the last time we saw us actually pull a few strings and play a well managed game, and that does actually go with how our season is sort of. Not falling apart, but how we sort of petered off. Because obviously, during those 3.5 months that Sammy was injured, we only managed to win 3 games. So
things were definitely clicking better when with Sammy there.
He varies his game up. You never know like what he's going to do next, what pass he's going to throw. You don't know who he's targeting, whether he's going to put it on the boot. And it's like his passes themselves, they're all perfect. Yeah. Like no one, like Joe Roberts had Joe Roberts had a fantastic game, full stop. But he was a lot more effective as a crash ball in this, and something he's underrated at is he packs a real punch. But it's because every time he got the ball, he was running at pace, and the pass was exactly where he wanted it, and he didn't need to break stride. Whereas what we've seen a lot of the season up until now is players taking balls behind them, having to stop, having to check to catch the ball. So it's just little things like that. And Sammy's a player, a 10 who's happy to not have the ball. He's happy to say, no, you boys do it.
That's
Well,
game management. That's
well,
knowing when to play and when not to play.
that's one thing I notice every time with Sammy. He shouts the loudest on that pitch. He's calling the shots the whole time, and I noticed that you could hear him shouting from where I stood, saying,
Yeah.
"Over there, do this." He's always thinking, well, what's next?
Yeah, his vision's great. I was watching a podcast with Andre Pretorius earlier, and so former Springbok 10, I think he's a World Cup winner with the Springboks fly half, and he said like the number 10 is the bus driver, like all 14 players are on the bus and the 10 is the one driving the bus, and that's what Sammy's so good at, and because Sammy's his best ability is not availability, which is maybe something that we can talk about. We as Scarlets fans who watch the Scarlets in depth every single week get that moment when he's back of going, oh, this is a lot better with Sammy in the team. And like when Sammy's not there, like all the players are on the bus and sometimes there's no one driving it. And sometimes Josh looks down and he thinks, oh, I'll drive. I'm the captain, so I'll drive for a bit. And sometimes Eddie James looks at his lap and goes, oh, there's a steering wheel here. Okay, I'll drive for a bit. And sometimes Cowder goes, for God's sake, I'm going to get to the front and I'll drive. Whereas when Sammy's on the pitch, he's like, sit down, shut up, put your seatbelt on. No, you can't have that. Where did you get? Be quiet. Right, we're going. Like, and that's what you need. And I completely agree with you. But it's great to hear that, like, he's the voice that you can hear. And when you slow down the footage and watch him, you can see like
he's calling,
he's talking,
he's
and
pointing,
stuff.
Like something we said early in the season, and obviously this was, when you talk about his varied games, something we haven't seen probably pre-World Cup was his running game, and we saw a bit of it at the start of the season, and he's come back from his 3.5 months out, and very clearly you can see it wasn't his bottom half that was injured, because he is running when he's picking his moment and running the line. Like one of his probably best highlight reel moments for us is his try against Cardiff, where he just basically just spots a gap, pins his backs, and just flies straight through them. And that is something we haven't seen a great deal of him from, for almost 2 full seasons. So it is good having that back, because we know he's a brilliant passer. We know he's a great kicker, and he is a real proper triple threat as a 10. And even with, okay, I know Anscombe's on the way out, but even if Anscombe was a couple of years younger, I've got no problem saying that Sammy is the best Welsh 10 currently playing professional rugby. You can include Patchell in those discussions. Sammy displaced Patchell 2 years ago. If no longer, from my faded memory. So it can't be understated how important this kid really is to us, and keeping him fit, like you just said,
Well,
is the issue.
He's had an HIA, and that's just because of how he defends. He just gets his head down and tackles, and he's just going to pick up HIAs like that. So I don't know whether. Look, if you're going to be an international 10, you've got to be able to do that. But at the same time, you don't want your 10 getting injured all the time. You don't want him playing like a flanker, because flankers is the highest attrition position in rugby. So, and you don't want that from your fly half. So, fingers crossed his concussion's not so bad and he's back for 2 weeks' time. Yeah,
he seemed okay. And what someone said, I don't know if this came over in a commentary or whatever, but they did say that he passed his HRE, and they were because Johan Lloyd was playing okay and obviously kicking the points, then they kept him on to close the game out. But
yeah, so it would have been
crossed.
He came off in the 48th minute, so it would have been probably the 58th where they would have had that decision to make had he passed his HIA. So I mean, at that point in the game, I mean, we were 2 scores clear, and they did not look like scoring. I mean,
you can see the way we stopped, the way we played changed now when Johan Lloyd came on. We weren't taken to the line as much. It's more of a kick-in defensive game.
Yeah, well, I done this in the group, but I'm gonna have to try and I can't see my phone for the love of God. There he is. And you just looked at, the different style that we had, from Sammy to Johan. And it was quite simple. When Sammy was on the pitch, we were getting 0.6 points per minute with him. And, so 48 minutes, that was, 29 points?
All four
I think it
tries.
was. All 4 tries. And with Lloyd on, we kicked 2 penalties. And I know you can say the style of game or the change went in. There was 32 minutes left on the clock. That's not the time to change your style of play 32 minutes out. That's not when you go, okay, we've got a lead. We're going to hold on now.
I just think the style of play changed because who was out 10 at that time, isn't it?
Well, it has to.
Yeah.
And that is because
they got different styles.
Yeah, the moment Johan comes on the pitch, like I'm not going to say he's a poor 10, but
no,
I'm not going to. He's not a good 10. He's probably average, maybe a little better on his best days, but he doesn't put that ball where it needs to be. His passing range, his kicking is, let's be honest, it's non-existent because he doesn't kick that ball. What was it? Something like 4 or 5 kicks. That's probably is average for us, even when he's playing over an hour.
Yeah, but his kicking for the sticks obviously has got better from when he first
started.
His goal kicking is probably the best in Wales at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what a few people around me were saying, like, oh, we should have Johan on just to kick the points or whatever. And I'm like, no, you obviously don't watch rugby enough to see what Sammy does. That's literally the way I see it. It's
we literally scored 4 tries with Sammy on the pitch. So
it's not all about the kicking. It is actually playing the rugby as well. Do you know what I mean? And if Sammy does improve his kicking for the posts,
he always misses the first one. I don't know what it is. If in the first 5 minutes of a game, Sammy gets a kick in front of the sticks, he's missing it. I think we just need to accept that.
He had better kick of the post before he missed that one against the Dragons. Remember, in front of the posts.
Yeah,
I feel like that knocked his confidence, and he has never been back to where he was.
Well, if we talk about Sammy, because he is still 24 years old, like realistically, he age-wise, he's first year out of senior academy.
He looks 16, but he is.
Like the way that Welsh rugby is now set up with our senior academy system, this should have been his first year of senior rugby. So, you've still got to, keep that in your mind. I know he's been our number 1 for 3 seasons. He's still a kid, and when after that, who scored it now? I've already forgotten. Tom Rogers. After that try, obviously we take the kick off. He obviously steps in the first guy, and he just a poor clearance kick. The angle and the height they're off, and it just luckily bounces against our Leinster player. And again, luck of the ball, where it bounces, and we can see that try. And obviously, Sammy had run back to try and make that covering tackle, and he was on the floor. And the camera. I don't think the camera really followed the Leinster try, but you could see everyone coming over to Sam to just come on, head up, let's go. Be confident because he's still a kid. You still need that. Look, you probably still need that till I'd say probably another year, maybe 2. At the age, even if you're a starting player, it takes a long time for you to get that sort of confidence to, walk off a mistake. Some people have a natural ability, but when you're talking a 10 that does make those sort of errors, and I don't mean that Sammy makes, I mean like any 10 that makes that error, they need someone to be like, it happens. We're fine. We're still going to win.
One of those things you got to protect because yes, you said he's young. And, we saw what happened to Reece Priestland when the fans turned on him and ruined the way he was and the confidence he had. You don't want that to happen to Sammy. He's had a hard time as it is so far, I think. If you look at how he's been playing for Wales.
I'll be honest, I think a lot of new players' treatment in the Wales system is absolutely terrible. I've been banging about Matthias for 2 years now. About his treatment in there. Is not a place for young players to go in and succeed. You either hit the ground running 100 miles an hour, be more or less perfect from the start, or you basically you get next to nothing, and then you moved on to the next player after you've played less than like 150 minutes. It's really not conductive of developing players at the minute. Hopefully that will change. We did score try number 3 and 4.
Let's talk about try number 4.
Try number 4.
So I really liked this try because it was like a chess match between this. So this is a clip from Brett Igo. I haven't made this. Brett Igo is a great follow. Actually, I don't know if he still does. I think he still does work for Leinster in the academy and stuff. And he puts these clips up on socials and things. Really recommend giving them a follow. So this is all really intricate with the arrows and things. Like I said, I didn't make this. So the balls come out from a scrum just beyond the 10-metre line in Leinster's half, slightly over to the right of the pitch. This is all about 14 versus 15. This is all about Blair Murray wants to get the better of Leinster number 14, which I think is Osborne. Doesn't say in Brett's tweet. But so, like I said, Leinster's is play an aggressive out to in defence. It's the Jack Newton thing. It's what the Springboks play as well. And it's all about blitzing up as quickly as you can. You can see the number 14 there is shot out. And that's what Blair wants. And then he steps in and goes around him, obviously. Now, it shows, you can see it better from the angle behind the posts. I love the early celebration from Joe as well. More of that, please. So this is the setup from beyond the post. You can see the Leinster number 14 there, and he's shooting out. I think Brett's going to draw an arrow in a second. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that's the out to in side of it, and he's going for Blair Murray, and Blair Murray knows that. So Blair Murray, obviously Kiwi rugby player, smart, and this is all about from the moment that scrum is set, Blair wants this one-on-one situation. So he gets the pass from Johnny, and it's a lovely kind of skip off the right foot to get him on the outside of the defender there, and just goes around him, leaves him for dead. And he's got the pace, he's got the agility, and then it's the simple inside ball to Joe Roberts. I'm going to see if I can get a different. There you go. So this is another angle of the same thing. Well, same angle, but zoomed in a bit and slowed down. So, like I said, a great pass from Johnny, and then zooms in, and then just before he catches it, there's a little jump there. Do you see that? Off the right foot. Just a little boop, just to get on the outside. And then this Leinster defender is like, oh no, I've been done here. And look, he just falls to the ground. It's all over for him. All his hopes and dreams have evaporated. His mum probably doesn't love him anymore. And it's try time for the Scarlets. So that's another try that I particularly enjoyed.
Well, any try that Joe Roberts scores, you've got to enjoy.
He was so good in this game. He's a good player, Joe Roberts. I don't know if we mentioned that before.
I mean, you look at the caliber of player that we have got. I mean, we quite easily could have 8 current internationals in our backline. You know, that's just how good they are. You know,
there's only 7 backs on the field, don't we?
I know, but you got Eddie James as well, not included in that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. There's that many. We've got that many backs who are at that level. It's frightening, especially with the leavers list being announced quite recently. That is set to continue into next season.
Yeah. Oh. Any other star players? We just mentioned St. Plumtree, official star in the game.
Yeah, Ryan Elias hitting a bit of form. He hasn't been at his best recently, but he put in a more than solid performance while he was on the park. You know, you can't underestimate, you know, Hepburn and Henry Thomas. You know, despite that one scrum penalty, which I am really annoyed at because it's just, you know, your typical Leinster wheel that, you know, Adam Sanders is going, oh, blah, blah, blah. The scrum was solid. Set piece is lovely.
It's early celebration.
Yeah. Right. I just want to highlight so we're looking at the Plumtree try for the audio people. Just want to highlight, just actually watch him when he's there actually catching it. Oh, come on.
It's not going to, it skipped it. You're not going to find the right place now.
Oh, come on, boys. Oh, come on. Right. Please work with me.
Who is
Why?
having problems?
Why is it like this?
Who
Doesn't
is
have to be
having
this
performance
way.
problems? What a surprise.
It's just on
I'm
thingy
sorry,
on
I'm really sorry, audio listeners. You're going to have to put up with this. So just let it
Right,
play
here we
through.
go. He just stands there for ages.
And then-
It's a shocker from Burn. He literally just stands there like, pass me
But-
the ball then.
But
Here we
Burn
go.
throws it forward as well, doesn't he?
He does a little bit.
It's as if-
Actually, that's a
forward
pretty good
passes.
take. Now that I've paused it there,
And the
one-handed take
turn.
behind him.
That's
He's like-
sexy.
He's like Joe
That is-
Henry then.
Way, and he's off.
La-di-da. Hey, look at that grin.
It's the way he's celebrating, and I watched a bit of the highlight video, and they're like, "Don't celebrate yet, you haven't scored it yet." He's so confident with it, and the way he dives is brilliant.
Yeah, he dives and his feet hit the ground first. Not a great
Yeah.
dive.
Yeah.
Tane, obviously, another one that was just brilliant. He did give away a penalty, just the one, and
That's
you know,
not like
I
him,
think
man.
it,
Yeah,
I
but
think,
it was a
I
late
think it was
hit.
harsh.
It was a late hit on a 10. Like, number 8s are allowed to put late hits on 10s, I thought.
I mean, any forward is allowed to put a late hit on a 10.
Yeah.
No, that's an unwritten rule. I mean, it's really hard to single out a player that didn't
I
have
know,
a good
pretty
game.
much every player played their best game of the season.
I mean,
I just think they're all clicking. I think we've been waiting for it to click, and we
been waiting for Sam Costello.
yeah
That's all.
to be the glue that holds everyone together.
I mean, someone that doesn't look, he has got some recognition. Obviously, Phil Wales cap as well to go to his name, but you know, someone who's had a bit of a hard time since the Six Nations era, which is only a few matches, is Ellis Me. Like I've seen loads of, you know, just things online about him. Oh, you know, Hamer Webb's Welsh qualified. You know what? We'll take him, put him on the wing. You know, with Rodman. People, you don't see the work that a lot of players put in. I mean, the amount of rucks that Me hits is unreal. You know, taking kickoffs is just something he is ridiculously good at as well. I mean, that is actually something that led to their first try from the Costello charge down. Is the fact that Me had taken those restarts so well and gained ground all those times that they're like, okay, we need to change this up a bit. This kid isn't, but he isn't giving in.
And to think, you probably would have had the chance if Tommy Lewis was fit.
I know it is scary to think that how good maybe the Drovers would have actually been if certain players weren't injured at the right time. But yeah, that's another bugbear that I'm not gonna come into. But so many players, so many good performances. I mean, even the bench. I mean, I know a few of them didn't come on to the last few minutes, but you know, Marnus, he's literally he is a warthog. He just does not stop. I mean, the
There was a
engine on the
moment,
guy.
I haven't been able to clip it up yet. I plan to, where he
just runs everywhere.
He was marking the blind side at a line out, and then the ball goes in and Leinster go wide, and he literally just runs. He follows the ball across the whole pitch, chases the ball across the whole pitch, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the system, but I like it.
He's got to use all his energy up, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's got all
true.
that built up. 1 minute did he come on? Because obviously from the side.
Oh, I don't know. I want to say 55.
50 something. Yeah,
Yeah.
early 50s have to be.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a debut, Louis Trevette, if that's how you say his name properly. He managed to get 2 minutes at the end of the game. So
54.
54. There you go. So congratulations to young Louis. You know, I've seen the photo of him after the game. Scarlett does suit him. You know, maybe he'll want to stick around. Who knows? But yeah, I'm trying to think of the rest of our bench because you know, Jared Taylor.
I was surprised
Jack
that
Wright
Archie
as well.
came on. It shows how confident Dwayne was feeling.
I know. What was it? 6 minutes left, something like
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
It's like it got at least a good 5 minutes on the pitch.
I mean, you think 6 minutes left. You know, that's enough time to score a couple tries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know I'm I've been banging the drum about, you've got to get Archie on the pitch for 20, 30 minutes a game or start in certain ones. But seeing the way this game played out, I wouldn't have been against not bringing him on.
But he didn't look
No.
like he was having a problem from game management point of view, though, did he?
Oh no, his
He
kicks
seemed fine.
Kicks were all right. He
Yeah.
was setting up his rucks. He's getting
Did
rid
we
of the
say that,
ball.
by the way, Cowdor's broke the record for most Scarlet's tries now, 55?
Yeah, he beats their house.
On the day that is announced that he's leaving as well. Not the day, but his presentation and everything. That is, I don't want to say ironic, but maybe a nice bit of symphony there from there. So, anyone else to really be discussed about?
Yeah, they were all great. Everyone's very happy. I've been in a good mood ever since. Apart from very briefly when I watched Wales Women.
Oh,
when I was in a very
don't.
bad
Please
mood. But then I was in a good mood again today.
Fair enough. So
You just have to look at the thumbnail from the short on YouTube. You see how happy you are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. It's probably, if you haven't seen the thumbnail of Huw's little celebration after Leinster result, go have a look, because that's a savage human being.
That is a happy man. Ecstatic.
Okay. Are we ready for the best part of the pod? I'm getting darker now. I should have turned the light on.
Yeah, do you own a light?
I do own a light, but it was very, very bright before I came on, and I forgot to turn the light on. So
Well, it's almost gone too far the other way now.
I'll go turn it on now. You boys mumble for.
Oh, hang on, we got a vamp now. Right. I was at Mum and Dad's at the weekend. Mum was telling me that she got the weed killer and the vegetable growth mixed up. So
no.
all the green beans are dead, but she has got a 20-foot dandelion out of it.
Nice. I love when the summer comes and you just start talking to your parents about gardens. Like, what do I do? How do I sort this out? Nah.
Okay, boys. Are we ready?
I'm anticipating this to be quite short, Mark, because I thought the season was finished by now.
Well, this is the actual weekend that the season was meant to be finished. The 26th of April, that was like the weekend they wanted it done.
I think a few people thought it was over because someone asked for Johan Lloyd's boots, and he went, I got 2 more games to play first, mate.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well. Are we ready for
the
community? Let's go. Sharing screen in 3. Oh, no, it's already done. Okay. We'll try and make this one quick because there's not a great deal to talk about, if I'm totally honest. So it was the beginning of Super Rugby Cymru playoffs, and we had the wild card round, which were teams 7 through 10 competing for a quarter-final spot. Carmarthen Quins headed up to RGC, bolstered with Scarlet's Keanu Evans wearing the number 7 shirt and Callum Woolley on the bench. And quite frankly, no one other than me in this pod universe was giving Quins a chance. And quite rightly so. 15-12. It was a slog of a game. I put it say, I was so ecstatic, seeing some of these scores, because it was only RGC Twitter that was, updating scorers as and when. So my kids have swimming lessons on a Saturday, between 2:30. Is it 2:30? Yeah, from 2:30 to like 4:00. I'm literally in a swimming pool where 4 of them have 3.5-hour lessons intermittently, which is, bad enough as it is, but you got to deal. So I was literally in there, had my phone, just every now and then click on RGC, refresh, and the Quins winger Louis Rees had scored a try, had gone 5-0 up, and I shouted and I disrupted the entire venue. So that was kind of embarrassing for my kids, but I was so happy to see Quins just get into the lead, and 5-0 then straight into half time. Quins RGC did come back into it. It was like 7-5. Quins went up 10-7. I want to say it was 12-10 then, But obviously, Quinn's 3 tries, no conversions, which is, would have made things a little bit easier. But there we have it. But it was a hell of a win for Quinn's. And, going up to RGC is not easy. They're not walkovers. Yes, they have finished, quite lowly in the league. But their home form is really good. They quite usually run in a lot of points. If you go through the SRC season, you look for any match in excess of 70, 80 points, and vast majority of them are going to include RGC. They score a lot of points on their own park. So to be restricted to just 12, that is a huge achievement by Quins, who rotated quite a bit because they got quite a lot of boys injured, to be fair to them. And RGC, they're really settled. They got probably the opposite problem. They don't rotate enough. So, so proud of Quins. I really, really am. They now get to travel to Ebbw Vale, which will be played on Sunday. The other game in the quarterfinals of the SRC will be Llandyfri against Pontypool. That is a 5:15 kickoff on Saturday and is live on S4C S4C, not just click in YouTube, not just the iPlayer, it's on linear television. If you get your Sky remote, your digital, whatever it is, and you click S4C, you will see SRC rugby right in front of you, which I think is brilliant, and I hope to see a lot more of it. Realistically, we are expecting Llandyfri and Ebbw Vale to win these 2 fixtures, but don't quite count out Carmarthen Quins, because they went to Eugene Cross quite recently and they were winning around the 70th minute mark. So they've got it in them, So congratulations, Quins. Looking forward to seeing what you can do on Sunday. Okay, into the Premiership, and it was just the one game for us to talk about. Llangennech getting the bye. Newcastle Emlyn at home to Narberth. And, last week I said that Narberth really need to win this game to, guarantee their safety. 34-all draw. And thankfully, there was a bonus point in there for Narberth. Newcastle Emlyn already relegated. We knew that. But for Narberth, that third match point, that is the only reason they are safe now. They cannot be caught. They are safe, literally, thanks to this result. Because it being a draw, they would have lost less games than the team that can match their points. But the way the league placings go, it goes like match points, number of wins, number of losses. And thankfully, they will have lost 1 less than the team below them. So well done to Narberth. They've got another crack at the Premiership next year, and we hope to see them kick on. So fixtures for this week, we've got a midweek Llangennech travelling to Cross Keys. Onto the Saturday then, Llangennech again away to Bargoed, and Newcastle Emlyn hosting Newbridge. Championship West, Llanelli Wanderers 1914 at home to Ammanford. Seems that the legs are getting a bit weary in Llanelli. I believe they only need 8 match points from their last 3 games to
I don't understand how they're
champions.
still playing. It feels like they've played 100 games this season.
It's a 13-team league. It means they've got 24 fixtures. I do believe this was meant to be the last weekend, but they never properly account for all the fixtures that get postponed through weather and other things. It's an ongoing issue that
they're already crowned champions, aren't they?
Aye, if only. They are sat on 90 points. Tata Steel on 92. Tata only have the 1 game left, which we'll be able to talk about now. So Wanderers need 8 points from 3 games, and they will be crowned champions and go up to the Premiership, where they belong. A team called Llanelli, playing out to Stradey Park, deserves to be in the higher echelons of Welsh rugby. If that's at the amateur level, it's at the amateur level. I don't care. Let's get them up there. So fixtures this week, Wanderers are travelling midweek to Ystalyfera, and Ammanford are at home to Tondi. On to the Saturday, Ammanford are Tata Steel's last game of the season in Ammanford. So by the time Saturday comes, Llanelli Wanderers might not even need those 8 points. Ammanford could do them a massive favour and, ship about 5 of them off. And Ammanford have been playing really well this second half of the season. So I wouldn't put it past them to get the victory in this one. Crymych at home to Trebanos and Llechry Wanderers at home to Glynneath. One West is finished. You can see champions Aberystwyth relegated are 2 teams from, east of our borders. The Pringles team is in there, but, blah, blah, blah. 2 West Central as finished for Brynaman. Have I done that score right? I'm thinking to myself now, I thought that they lost. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. I'm really sorry, guys. In Division 2 West, the final game of the season, Carmarthen Athletic winning 38-14 away to Milford Haven. Champions of the league, Lampeter, promoted alongside them are Larne, and the unlucky Milford Haven are going to be relegated with them into Division 3 West, and this is probably the tastiest league still going. Cardigan winning 30 points to 17 away to Ammon United, and champions to Croyce winning 43-5 away to Ponteberem. So there's just the one game left in this league, and that is Haverfordwest at home to Llangadog. Haverfordwest are safe. Llangadog need, I believe, 3 match points to guarantee safety here. So Llangadog get 3 points. Ammon United are relegated. Llangadog don't get 3 points. They're the ones going down. So it is winner takes all for Llangadog. That's all they need to care about this week, is getting those match points. Even if it's 7-6, 5-3, any scoreline will do. They just need those match points to go through. So champions of this division, like I just said, to Croyce, promoted Abereyron, teams already relegated, Kev Nathan and Ponteberem. If I swing back round to 2 West Central, I have made a mistake. I've got the home and away teams the wrong way round. Brynaman lost 21-10 away to Hoylecow, who just happened to be champions. So that's not an hard one to take. For West A, we're waiting to see what happens with Llanybydr against Narberth Athletic. That's the only game left to be played in the league. Neyland champions, Narberth Athletic promoted. For West B, Trimsaran winning 32-18 at home to Llandibby to round off the league champions, Huw's New Dock Stars, and promoted team Trimsaran. Some youth finals to discuss. So in the Prems Cup, Haverfordwest won 54-24 against Narberth, and in the plate, Tenby won 55-5 against Crymych. And that, Carmarthenshire Cup final is coming on the 3rd of May. We got Carmarthen Quins against Llandilo, reigning WRU Cup double champions Llandilo. So that's going to be an interesting one. And that brings us to the end of the community game. So boys, you were awfully quiet during that one, probably because you were both muted. I expected someone to chime in.
I was mourning.
I did chirp a couple of
times.
times. I did chirp a couple of times. I forgot I was on mute.
Oh, that's what it is.
I just saw Hugh's arms going up. So no noise.
And no one's going to see you now because they're all focused on my beautiful spreadsheet. Can't believe I messed up Brynaman and Hoylecow. I'm really annoyed with myself. I've let myself down. I've let the community down. I must commit harakiri. Okay. On to the next item on our agenda. We do have a leavers list. So it was announced 7 players would be leaving us at the end of the season. So does anyone have the list to hand?
Oh, hang on. All right. Tell her knock knock joke. I'll be right with you.
Knock knock.
Who's that?
Who?
Huw.
Exactly.
What? Right. No, that wasn't long. I still haven't found it.
Okay, we've got Sean Evans is one.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's got his big face on the picture. Obviously, he started as a open side flanker for us, converted to hooker. He's been a servant for a good few years. 2017 made his debut. So he's featured a couple times this season. But looking at our hooker stocks, Ryan Elias and Marnus, the Warthog, they are very clear 1 and 2, and there's quite a gap to Sean. But if we look at the boys coming up behind Sean, we've got Isaac Young, recent under-20s hooker, and Harry Thomas, current under-20s hooker. And Harry Tom, for the most part, has looked like an amazing prospect. Both of those boys just named have
Can't stop scoring.
I've made the Scarlet senior debuts. Isaac Young was beginning last season in South Africa, and Harry Thomas again last season against Munster, admittedly because of injuries, but both boys have made a professional competitive appearance for us. So I'm not too disheartened by this. This probably an argument that if we had the money, we would have probably kept him, or we would have probably looked for a different hooker to be our third choice. But he's not a major knock. Excellent servant to us. He's been playing Quadden Quinn's back at 7 recently. So, if he goes on to get another contract somewhere, great. If he doesn't, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Quinn's colours, because he is a really, really good player. I've jumped in Evans. So Steph Evans. He's probably the major servant on this list.
Yeah, probably the biggest name on this list.
11 seasons he's been with us, and that's brilliant. Most people don't get that, and the fact that he's still only 30 just shows you how old he was when he actually broke onto the scene and became a starter. I'm not
try machine.
I'm not saying
knew his way to the try line, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to follow the same trajectory, but max page age, that's when Steph broke in for us, that 19 to 20 years old season. So Steph has been amazing for us. I love him. I love having Lee's rants about his haircut, which were as
a mullet and a rat tail at the same time.
I was embarrassed for both of them at the same time. So it's hard. It's quite a weird one to put into that. He was massive during the Wayne Pivac years, barring the last one. So I'm gutted to see him go. I really am, but I do think, again, he's one that's subject to finances. If there was a bit more money around, we probably would have kept him. Because
there's a backup, yeah.
The depth we've got in the back three now, we've got a full Wales back three, plus Tommy Lewis can't get a kick, plus Jack Davis is coming through.
Johan Nicholas.
Nicholas as the perennial break glass in case of emergency. So, what's your favourite Steph Evans try? You got one?
Too many.
The final for me.
I think
the memory of him is actually getting a red card in the Leinster game and us still winning. But I remember being ecstatic when he was announced that they were overturning his red card because of I think him and Samson Lee tipped.
Because it was Samson Lee what done it, but Samson Lee didn't get banned.
Yeah, and
that was a little bit sus, I'll be honest. I think it's far enough along now to think that was a little bit dodgy.
Yeah. I'll just never forget it. And I remember in the week it announced, Steph has been cleared for the final, and I was like, yes. And then he scores in the final. I was like, yep, that's my boy.
One of the tries that sticks out to me, I can't remember specifically. I think it was against Benetton, and he comes onto the ball. I want to say somewhere between the 210s. It's a strike play. He takes the ball, and he just looks so slow running to the line, but he still gets there. And I don't know why he just sticks in my mind.
Do you remember in the year in the Champions Cup when we got to the semi-final?
Yeah,
we were pretty much out playing against Benetton at home, and then I think Steph Evans just created 2 tries out of nothing. Right?
Yeah, his little kicks.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that a coach would never tell you to do.
Yeah,
and that was always the thing about Steph, is you always be like, "Oh no!" Oh, he scored.
Yeah,
it was because it was always a case of, oh, he kicks too much, and then probably one in every 3 or 4 of those dodgy kicks, he would score a try from it. And like, okay, yeah, he scored a try, but how did that happen? That shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened.
I
And
always just think he's I got 2 players to beat. Oh, he's just beating them. Done.
because Steph never had top end pace. He had pace when he was younger, obviously, but it was his ability to beat a player
Yeah.
in literally the space the size of a laptop. You can't even get 4 people's feet inside there, and you could beat a man in that space.
It would
Like
literally be like okay, 2-on-1, pass the ball. Oh no, he stepped inside. Don't okay, right now, pass the ball. Oh no, he's not. No, oh he scored. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, the work that him and Cowdo would do around the ruck, just little 1-2s. It's just some of the best rugby that Steph played was on those fringes like that, because he could just get past that man, make line breaks, and beat defenders. Because that was his super talent, and I did say, I have said for a few years, he's probably a luxury winger. The fact that if you need 14 other really good players to really go, okay, we don't need to quite work on this part of the game as much. We can have Steph in there, which I think was the start of his downfall, and then injuries came in. So I love Steph. I will always love Steph. But again, I don't want to say he's surplus to requirements, but the way his contract is finished and the stocks we kind of have, it just wasn't going to happen.
You could tell, like, by his facial expression that he was gutted to finish the way that it's gone, in the sense he's come back from injury and not really played. Yeah, you could tell he's got this, but we don't. That's what we expect because he's played for us so long.
Yeah, but I mean, even coming into this season, I don't think, obviously we didn't know how good Ellis Mee was going to be, but he wasn't in our projected starting back three. We would have had Rogers, Murray, and Lewis. Obviously, we knew that Tommy Lewis was injured, but that's what we came into the season thinking our best back three was going to be. So he was always up against it a little bit, and yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of years left in him. He's got great
Yeah,
experience.
I just hope he doesn't go the Kieran Hardy route. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh no, he won't. It's more Scarlets go to Dragons to finish off their careers.
Yeah.
Really.
Speaking of, Evan Jones is off.
Yeah.
So Cowdor's sticking around for an extra season, but that does leave us a scrum half short. So at some point, I think we'll probably do, not tonight, but another time, we'll talk about recruitment and what's needed. Ed Scragg also. Oh, but I've only just remembered, Mart. Mart likes to think that he's in the know. He sends me a list before the leavers list comes out and goes, "This is who's leaving," and I'm like, "Oh right, okay." And then the real list comes out,
This
it's
is who
nothing
I
like it.
think. This is who I think. Just because I show you, you got the access to spreadsheet. I show you who's on contract, year what, and it's the ones that make sense. And because we hadn't heard nothing and hadn't seen no photos of people in season ticket renewals, etc., it just adds up. That's all that is, but I don't know what you're chirping on about. That's 7, right?
Okay, so we're going to need another scrum half. Huw
Yeah.
Lloyd, we know about. We've spoken plenty about Huw Lloyd. Alex Craig. Look, it's been fantastic. Obviously, our player of the season for the first season that he joined. His career was maybe not going the way he wanted it, and he's completely resurrected it at the Scarlets. So it's a big miss to have a lock that size. So with Ed Scragg also leaving, we're going to need another lock, at least one. Obviously, the Jake Ball rumours is the main thing that's come out in the last few weeks. So we'll see how that develops. I think it's pretty much true because Jake Ball keeps liking all the posts about it. So, that's a pretty good sign. But yeah, Alex Craig, look, he's going to the current league champions to further his international careers. You can't say more fair than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, well, he signed 2 one-year deals, which is, I'm kind of scratching my head at that. the first one, yeah, but obviously, coming into this season, he signed on with us, so he obviously didn't have nothing else lined up. Don't understand why we didn't go for a 2-year deal.
There's been rumours about him leaving. I think Glasgow tapped him up a long time ago,
a
to be
while ago,
honest.
yeah.
And then the last one they haven't spoken about, Charlie Titcombe is
No,
leaving.
I don't
Now-
want to hear about it. Don't want to hear about it.
Now, we've spoken plenty of times on this pod about Charlie Titcombe and the fact that he should be used more. My understanding is that he has gotten an opportunity in England, so he's going back there to play over there. So, okay, that's how it's gone. It's going to be disappointing, and if he tears it up where he's going, there's going to be a lot of questions asked, uncomfortable questions asked.
Yeah,
whether Dwayne's known that he's leaving for a long time and has thought, okay, so I'm not going to give you minutes then because I know you're off. But then obviously Johan Lloyd's been in the same position, so yeah, that's going to be. I think it's going to be a case of what could have been with Charlie Titcombe and the Scarlets.
yeah. I mean, obviously, he's not Welsh qualified, which is probably a big stickler. But at the same time, he's not capped by England, not capped by England A or Saxons or anything like that. So he's not tied to them either. So he's a time server here. So I don't know how the brackets really work, but I'm sure we could have got away with something.
Yeah,
it was a case of he had his first start against Leinster. I think it was November or somewhere around there last year. Not last year, the last season, sorry. And even though we lost, he put in such an assured performance, and he'd been playing so well when he was with Quins even beforehand that it was like this kid at every level he's been at in senior rugby, he took on Bucks, he smashed it. He took on SRC, he smashed it. He stepped up against Leinster. He looked awesome. He looked a proper 10, and I thought that was going to be the stage. Okay, we're going to start seeing him a fair bit more now. We obviously we're still early in the Johan Lloyd as a 10 saga, so I thought, he's probably going to get relegated back to 15 now, and we'll see the development of Sam Costello and Charlie Titcombe, two boys who were in the Leicester Academy together. They were a year apart from each other, so they played a lot with each other, in the latter years of school as well. So, yeah, I am really disappointed to lose Charlie, because I know we've all been banging his drum, and people will go, well, SRC, Premiership, whatever it was, it is a big step off to URC. Well, yeah, it is a big step off, but whenever you go on a pitch for it, and you are the standout player, and you go into a team that is struggling for wins, and every time you're there, they win. It's like, connect the dots, please.
He just had that chance, did he? The Scarlets.
No, he never did. And rumors going around about where he's going. From what I can see, they don't have any 10s officially signed on at the minute. So unless a few super announcements come out, he looks like he's going to be a regular in their 23. Obviously, things can change. That can be wrong. I'm not saying otherwise. But I'm going to be really, really annoyed if in, let's say, I don't know, 8 months' time, we see his name. He started something like 3-4 games in the Gallagher Premiership, and he's being raved about. Where's this kid come from? Like, yeah. Tale there never was. I think he's one we're gonna potentially regret, unless Joe Hawkins comes in bloody super hot and is actually an amazing 10.
On Joe Hawkins' news, he was playing for Exeter at the weekends, and they got 79 points to however many it was by Gloucester. And I messaged you, Mark, saying Drovers would play better than this.
Yeah,
and that's not about Joe Hawkins. Exeter's coaches have been suspended is the official line as of today. It's
that bad.
I've never seen a team play that badly. You couldn't call that professional rugby. What went on in that game? So, but that means that Sam Costello, who as we've said, has availability challenges, is the only specialist 10 at the Scarlets. So it's either Carwyn Leggett Jones, you're about to have a hell of a year, or We need to sign someone.
Well,
Yeah.
not going to be quite that step up for young Carwin. We do have a couple boys that play 10 in the senior academy. We've got Steph Jack Jones and Price Jr., Ellis Price, who has been playing a fair bit of 10 for Carmarthen Quins. Admittedly, before this season, 12 has been his primary position. He's converting into a 10. He's a big boy like his brother Jack. So, I think he might be 6'3", 6'4" as well. So, he's a unit, but he's not 100 kilos. So he does fit in number 10 bracket for you, Huw.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we have options. I'm just saying leave the Welsh Wonder Kid be for 5. Let's see how everyone else goes first.
All right. So is that the end of the levers chat that we need to do?
Yeah, I think that's everyone. There's a few rumors that the levers list is incomplete. That some of them are currently in contract negotiations, so some names could be added to it. That's total speculation. So hoping it's not true, but we have it. Lions are coming up.
Wait.
No.
Before we move on to that, we've had a letter.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh.
It's from Jack from Lucker. He says this. This is my third choice letter, sent on my third choice node paper, written in my third choice ink. To go with the third choice teams that you are so delighted about beating. Yours, Jack from Lucker. Well, what do you say to that, boys? Does if it's third choice, does it not count?
I mean, it wasn't third choice, but
No.
Who's ever 100%?
Well,
100% of the time.
The team over the bridge couldn't beat the fourth, so I'm just saying we did.
Well,
beat the second.
they played them today. I didn't realize they were in the same league. Oh.
Yeah.
Nah, Jack. I'm sorry, but that might be your third choice thing. But someone needs to stop being deliveries to your bloody location. Christ, these letters, man. What's going on?
It's funny that's the only letter as well. They surely got something better to do.
I know. Surely
you would think.
Type them up, send them in an email. His third choice keyboard. Never know. All right,
let's talk about the Lions now. Do you want to get my Lions preview? Lions aren't very good.
Lions preview. Oh, whoa. They've won games. They've won games.
Okay, cool. Lions aren't very good, and we can't go down to South Africa to play the Lions thinking, oh, it's a trip to South Africa, anything's a bonus. No, the Lions lose at home all the time. In fact, I'll look it up now while I'm talking. Like, the way to beat the Lions is the Lions are a counter-attacking team. So the way to beat them is to give them the ball. Because if you ask them to attack over multiple phases, build an attack, they can't do it. So we need to go down there and tweak our game plan. All the teams who have gone down and beat the Lions have tweaked their game plan to play against the Lions, as in just not be interested in having the ball and be happy to be the team that plays on the counter attack. So the Lions at home have won 5 out of 7 games. So they've lost twice at home so far this season. In the past, they've lost a lot more than that. So it's doable. It's a winnable game. So we just need to have the right mindset going into it.
It needs to be noted that they're at home for the rest of the season. They've been at home for the last 2 games. 26-7 win over Connacht and a 42-31 loss against Benetton. And for Benetton to go to Lions and win, there's no bloody reasons we can't. This. I know we spoke about certain games being cup finals, blah blah, but this is the playoff entry cup final. We win this one, we're in. End of. It doesn't matter what, like even 4 points. It doesn't matter what happens, with the rest of the teams, because that's going to be enough to guarantee us through. And
Lions got nothing to play for anyway, have they?
But they can if they win the last 3 games. They've
got 2 left.
Oh, last 2 games. Sorry, I'm still thinking a week behind. they can still finish on 46 points, which should be enough. Yeah, they're on 36 now.
It's such a weird bottom of the
Or is
table.
it
35.
35 or 45. I'm one off. I'm not far off. But
Fair play.
yeah.
They were one from bottom before this weekend. I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
Didn't
No,
they get
look, guys, boys, I've told you, they're not a great team.
No, they're
We
not
can
a
beat
great
them.
team. It's going to be interesting. Us going down to South Africa, coming back home with 10 points. We haven't done it before. We're going to do it this time round because let's be honest, the team we're playing after aren't exactly.
Have we won in South Africa yet?
Yes, we beat the Southern Kings twice.
Yes.
Not anyone in this league.
We've surely beaten the Cheetahs here.
I don't think we have beaten the Cheetahs because the Cheetahs were all right.
Yeah, we've been
Cheetahs
beating them
were
at home.
okay. Oh yeah, we smashed them at home plenty of times. I did have a little South African bloody list, but I don't know if I've deleted it or not. I feel sorry for now. It would have come in handy.
Clayton Bloom and Cheese, they were the days.
Oh, Clayton.
Oh yeah.
Actually, if you go back and you look at some of those players who played for the Cheetahs back in those days, it's like Oxenshea. It's like Sia Masuku. Oh, no, Sia Masuku actually played for the Southern Kings. It's decent players, but the Lions are. I know they won at the weekend. They beat Connor. Connor's season is over, and it has been for a while. We can beat the Lions. I'm just repeating myself here, but all you have to do is.
They're quite scrappy, I think.
Yeah, they're a scrappy team.
They just throw the ball everywhere. So if Plumtree can intercept all those balls, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we say. Give them the ball, they'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to really gauge going down to South Africa for us because in the URC era, no, we haven't managed a victory until a fortnight's time when we do come away with all 5 points against the Lions, and then we go and put the Sharks in their place because that's just what they deserve. But I'm not one to normally say I'm nervous, but when we go to places and we expect to at least be on level pegging is a time where we tend to fall apart the most.
I don't like being favourites. I don't like it.
I don't mind being favourites at home.
At home, maybe, yeah. But I mean, I'm never confident anyway. But I'm least confident when we are favourites.
I mean, we've just beaten we're the best club team in the world.
Yes, we're the lineal champions in rugby.
To be fair, mind on the video comments on like YouTube and that, no one's going, "Oh, Scarlett didn't deserve that." Everyone is like, "Scarlett deserved that. They played so well." So if we can keep that on, then yeah, we could very well beat them.
Obviously, the Bulls is probably the closest emotionally wise. The stature of the win sort of thing. And obviously, we had a bit of a come down. I know we did win. We got the bonus point win against Zebra the following week, but the performance was just nothing. And if you called the Bulls a 5-star performance, the Zebra performance week after was like 1.5 stars at best. That was the sort of drop off. We've got a week off now to really set our heads straight before going to South Africa, and
with confidence as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that makes a hell of a difference.
And as long as whatever concussion rules there are allow Sammy to fly down, because that's something I was a little bit worried about. I know I spoke to him about, can he actually fly on a plane, following the hair tail. So if he has, passed it and he was only stayed off because we were looking okay, amazing, no worries whatsoever. But that is something that's taken on my head.
That is a worry for me. Yeah. Sammy being on.
Sammy plays, I think we win. I know if so long as we haven't had any new injuries, which we would have probably heard about by now. I mean, it's.
I just think it'll suit us. I just think they'll suit us. I think it's the kind of game that
we're similar. We don't tend to play with a lot of the ball.
I just think Blair Murray down there on those fast tracks. Tommy Rog,
and he's
Johnny Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we saw a bit of rotation.
What happened the last time we played the Lions? I remember what happened last season, but the season before that.
Okay, let's have a little look. So what's that, 22-23?
Yeah.
So Scarlet, we had the Lions. Did we travel to the Lions? We traveled to the Lions 32-15. So no, respectable. So that's a 3-score game in South Africa, which
Yeah, that won't do the job this time. We need to be better than that.
yeah, but that was 22-23. But what time in the year was it? Never mind. I think it was like middle of the year. Because this is like end of the year. Last year was the start of the season. So it'd have to have been in the middle somewhere. Oh well. What are we thinking, 23 wise going into this game? Are we changing anything? Do we bring Eddie James back even onto the bench?
I don't know. I think I'm okay with Johnny being it. Yeah, Eddie on the bench. Yeah.
But is he on the bench over Max Page or over Johan Lloyd?
Over Max Page probably.
See,
Max Page would probably be playing against the
Well,
Lions.
yeah.
Maybe give him a start. Maybe give Ellis Me a break.
on
He's
those
played a
fast
lot of rugby.
tracks. Yeah, as Ellis has been here majority of the season. I don't think, obviously, besides his antics with Wales, I don't think he's missed a game since he's probably broken into the team.
We got 3 tries and
15
no
games.
conversions last time. We had Dan Davis, Tommy Rog, and Sam Lousy scored.
Ooh.
Sam Lousy scored in the 82nd minute to put some respectability on the scoreline.
Okay. So
they're probably a very different team now.
They are. Look, they're not. I can't keep repeating myself. We're better than the Lions.
Yeah,
but
so
this is the thing. This has always been the thing of going away to teams that are worse than us.
It was straight after the autumn internationals. We didn't have our strongest team, if I'm remembering correctly. We were missing a few boys. Not a great deal.
They do score a lot of tries though.
I mean, come on, we had Wilgriff John.
Oh, sorry.
Taylor Davis. Oh, he's a good boy for Llantyfri, but Blade Thompson. Christ, that's the name I haven't heard in a few years.
Oh God, that's
Blade.
Them were the days.
Yeah.
Thomas Lozana.
That was weird. What was going on with that signing?
Bill Price. Oh wow, this is only 2 years ago. Jesus, makes you think. Really makes you think.
I was looking at the levers from like 2 years ago, and I was like,
that's the other thing about the levers this year is we've had 2 seasons of like 16, 17, 18 players leaving.
Yeah.
To only have 7 or however many it was this year.
It shows how young our players are, though.
To be fair, that was a list of players that are involved with the first team. There are some, senior academy boys that are moving on. And obviously, senior academy is 18 to 23, so a lot of these boys are like second years.
You go on the BBC report of the last time we played them. Scarlet's miserable season continued with the defeat to the Lions of Jasmine. There's no need for that.
What was that? Was that last season or?
That's 22-23.
22. Surely it weren't that bad of a season at that point.
Yeah. We got to a Challenge Cup semi-final.
That was before Christmas, wasn't it? It was New Year's Day that kicked that off because we'd only won.
We had Johnny McNichol, Tommy Rog, John Fox, Scott Williams, Limerick, Ryan Conbeer, Sam Costello, Gareth Davis,
Blade,
Kamsi Matthias, Taylor Davis. There you go. Wilgriff John,
Sam Lousy,
Peter, Aaron Shingler. God, that feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? Dan Davis, Blade Thompson. It's not that bad of a team.
Well, I mean, come on, Wilgriff John.
It's not exactly what's his name, Jones, Jack Jones, John Jones, whatever his name was.
Joe Jones.
Dane Blacker on the bench, Reece Patchell on the bench, Steph Evans, Sione Calamafoni on the bench.
Well, yeah.
A second row cover.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't really second row cover though, was he? But let's be honest, Fafita was playing in the row.
Fafita was starting in the row.
Hang on, that was when Calamafoni actually went for a run in the row. He played against Bayonne Ospreys. Jesus. Oh, Tom Price was still playing with us in that season. That must have been his last year.
Amy Barrett Theron was running the touch. Anyway, so yeah, Scarlet's by 10.
By 10. We just with the world's best club.
Yeah, we're not that great away from home. So
okay, Scarlet's by 15.
15.
Yeah, 3 scores.
Scars by 5. Be more optimistic.
How is that more optimistic than 3 scores? Do you think
Realistic,
it's realistic?
then.
Yeah, that's the
Splash
one.
optimistic. Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know.
He thinks.
I'm hoping that we can pull it off. But yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I
don't
think
leave it up to the Sharks,
Yeah. I think this wraps this one up. It's been a long
Wait,
one.
wait.
guys.
Are you a
Again?
Scarlets fan? Do you want to be on a podcast? Not this one, but Rap. Producer Lee is stepping down from Rap, and we need a Scarlets fan to go on. We're all far too important for that. So we need someone else.
Other players.
We need someone else to go on. So if you ever, loads of people got their podcasting debut with Rap. So if you ever fancied being a podcaster, if you're the kind of person who listens to a podcast about rugby, pauses it, says your opinion out loud to yourself, and then presses play again, you might be the right person for this. So get in touch via email, via Twitter, whatever it is, at Rap, WRRAP. Let us know. We need Scarlets fans to be podcasters. So shout up.
Can I say a bit of a confession by you in terms of the podcasting world?
Right.
Okay.
I'd never listened to a podcast before I sat down with Lee for the first time. Never listened to one.
That's too many.
Did no preparation. Just said, I'm going to sat down. I'm going to talk shit about Scarlets for a while and have a bit of fun. And look where he's gone.
Yeah.
3 years later. 2 years later. 2 years later. Yeah, it's not that. No, it hasn't been that long. And I'm still here talking the same shit about the same players and the same club. But yeah. So it has been a long one. We probably should have said this during the middle, where people were still, had at least some part of their focus on.
We can tell Lee that we remember to do it. That's the important thing.
Please like, share, subscribe, leave a review, introduce a friend that wants to become a podcaster. And yeah, this was fun. Boys, happy days.
Good pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Scarlets. Up a Scarlets.
I'm all heed.
That was Saucepans and Sidesteps. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.